This is already going to. The Super Bowl is right around the corner. If you're looking to place a bet on any of the sports going on, betonline.ag is the best and only place to lock it in. From game spreads, totals, to teams, players, and coaches' props, BetOnline gives you the most wagering opportunity and any place to play online. There's also an online casino that never closes. Join, log in to betonline.ag, sign up now.
From Channelside Drive, where Lord Stanley Cup rests.
Time ticks down, the Lightning win the Stanley Cup!
Travel across the bridge to St. Pete to find our American League champs.
And the Tampa Bay Rays have just won the American League pennant.
And get ready to fire the cannon.
Lob pass toward the end zone. Gronkowski, he makes the catch. Touchdown Tampa Bay. What a great grab by Gronk.
Because it's time for another episode of Play the Bay. Play the Bay.
Welcome back to Play the Bay, brought to you by Believe Podcast Network and Three Daughters Brewing.
Yeah.
All right, just to let you know, Evan gave me that 4 seconds before hitting the live button, so that'll be cleaned up next week.
Hold on. Let's pump the brakes. It wasn't 4 seconds. It was like a minute or two. So let's.
It's like the live button was like counting down. He's like, by the way, do this, this, and this. I was like,
we get used to it. But
yeah,
we'll get used to it. We still do what we have to do.
Let's not exaggerate too much.
We're not going to. Hey, NFC champs. Woo!
Hey, I'm excited, man.
Fire the cannons.
I got to tell you, Evan, you and I watching that game, and Kaylee, I got to be honest. I don't know if I can sit right next to El Bushman the next time because, like, we all know he's got a good voice and everything. We don't hear him really yell here, but when he actually yells, it's loud.
Yeah.
It's really, really loud.
Yeah. I lost my voice Sunday night and then going into Monday. Yeah, I just finally got it back today. It was bad. Like everybody thought I had COVID. They're like, I know. They're like, why can't you talk? I'm like, I was watching the game. I don't have COVID. Like, leave me alone.
Fair. I feel like, do you lose your voice with COVID? I feel like the day after the NFC Championship, that should be the assumption if you don't have a voice.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like it was really raspy. I could hardly like talk. It was pretty bad because it was pretty loud. Because I mean, I drank a lot of Coronas that night too, so that didn't help at all.
That's fair.
We had a lot of fun, but I got to tell you, we did meet, and Kaylee, you saw some of the social media on the IG page and some of that. Met some great Green Bay Packer fans that did talk to us, Wendy and a couple other folks there, and it was really good to have Packer fans that would just be calm. Almost the opposite of Evan, that were calm and didn't go all over the place and like scream. And but we had an opportunity to meet them, and they actually, one of the couples there has a rental house, and it's literally 200 yards from Lambeau Field.
Wow. I
mean, it's on the same road, I think, just across the street.
He gave you the address of the posting, right, to where you can go rent it too, right?
Yeah.
So we're ever up at Lambeau.
So, yeah. Big shout out to the Green Bay fans.
I mean, that's what you need. Like, are you guys thinking about, because you know what I considered? I have my office and we have another office in our house. And I was considering posting Airbnb spaces for the Super Bowl because why not?
Mm-hmm. Why not? I mean, a lot of people, I know they allowed, I think it's 25,000 now. Most of those are going to be healthcare workers and, family members of teams, etc. But yeah, people are going to be looking for a place to stay.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure you guys are very excited. If you didn't see my tweet today, I kind of got a glimpse into your lives because I did have a dream that the Jaguars won the Super Bowl.
That's all.
And it was like the greatest day of my life. And I had to get up early to go to the gym. And my first thought, I didn't even realize it was a dream. And my first thought was, let me put on all my Jags gear because we just won the freaking Super Bowl. And then I really woke up and I was like, what am I talking about? Never mind.
So some intuition, some forward thinking, maybe.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think it's been a long time. It's been 18 years since the Bucs have been, in the Super Bowl. And the last time that happened, I was a freshman in college, which was many, many moons ago. So it was. Oh God!
Wow, that's not. I'm not even going to say. Nope. I get to plead the fifth on my age then because I'm out. So
okay,
there you go.
But it was great. Like we went to Rafferty's, me and Chip, and it was a good old time, man. It was a very, especially going into the fourth quarter, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it was just a good time, man. It was the energy was there. Like, and Chip said this before, like the Packers fans that we sat next to are probably the nicest people in the world and have the same views as we do as how Eagles fans are the most terrible fans and terrible people in the world too as well. So it was refreshing to know that as well. So yeah, they were really nice, and they took the loss very well. They were very gracious. I was actually a very nice winner. I went up and shook hands and said, great game, and they were very happy about that. So it was a good time. And just watching the whole game as a whole, and seeing a lot of the Bucs fans out there was a good time. So yeah, I can't wait to be back for the Super Bowl, man. It's gonna be
Rafferty's, Kaylee, was jam packed, top and bottom levels, and out all over the place. So it was a rocking crowd. Carl got us great seats right in front of the TV downstairs, outside, which was great. So big shout out to him. Thank you, Carl, for taking good care of us, and we'll get a chance to repay him again for the Super Bowl show.
Yeah, for sure. We'll jump into the Super Bowl a little later, but let's recap this NFC Championship game. We can start with the offense. The offense has been not as prolific as the defense have been over the past couple weeks, but let's talk starting with the run game. Obviously, they struggled to get going. Fournette had that one big play, had that little juke, that nice spin move. But, other than that, Ronald Jones saw 16 yards. What's the deal with the run game? Are you expecting this to change over the next 2 weeks, strategy-wise? Is Leonard Fournette going to stay RB1? Well, give me your thoughts on the run game.
I don't know. It was slow. It was slow to get going, but they kind of hung with it, which I like that. It's something that I think health, now that they get this week off and Rojo maybe gets some additional rest, I hope that everything gets out and does well. He saw some carries, and he was effective-ish. You can definitely tell throwing out of the backfield to Leonard Fournette is something that's kind of left to be desired. In the couple of plays we saw, and Tom was rushed a little bit. But, it's something that hopefully he can come back, because he is that guy out of the backfield that can make catches and go the distance. So I hope he gets healthier as this time off, and, we're back to a full stable of backs.
I think the Bucs are in a real good position because now they have two backs, not just one. They've got two backs that can carry the rock quite well. And Leonard Fournette's really done that pretty well the past 4 or 5 weeks, setting in for Ronald Jones, because now we're in the Super Bowl. We're in the Super Bowl, and honestly, without having that number 2 back like him to fill in for Rojo, I don't think they'd be in the same position as they are now, honestly, because it's been a real big part, especially against Washington, especially against the Saints, and now against the Packers too. I think without having them having a strong run game, it would really affect how the outcome would be. And honestly, it's a good problem to have, because now Arians and Byron Leftwich can look at this as, okay, we could split carries, we could go 50-50, we could wait till see if Rojo is now 100% because of the hamstring problem. We can maybe start with him or start with Fournette. So, looking at this from the outside in, I love the fact that now we've got the two big guys in the backfield, and Fournette is you can't hate on him anymore.
No,
can't do it.
No, he had a great game.
Yeah, he had a great game. So the spin move was just
he had a fine game. He had 40-something yards, and he had a couple good plays. Like, he had one big play and a touchdown, and other than that, didn't really move the ball the rest of the game. He had a better game last week.
Can you say the spin move was delightful?
It was surprising. Here's what was delightful about it, and here's what my favorite part of this entire, maybe even game is that you can see how unaccustomed he is to breaking tackles and extending a play, because when he spun out and saw that he was free to go, the confusion on his face. He did a little stutter step. It almost like he lagged. It was kind of like a lag and like, oh crap, I gotta go. And it was delightful to see him surprise even himself.
His 5G quit working for a hot second, but that was running in the offensive line in Jacksonville. You never saw a hole that big, so he just kind of went, "Holy crap!"
I think the offense going forward, especially going into the Super Bowl, you'll get Antonio Brown back.
Yeah.
Which is, good. Even though a lot of people on Twitter were like, "Oh, we're gonna miss Antonio Brown." He hasn't really done much. And give me some Scott. Yeah, like give me some Scotty Miller any day. And Scotty Miller.
Dude, we talked about that. Give me more Scooter.
Yeah,
give me Scooter.
Like, you can have Antonio. He was brought in to be the depth guy. Like, give me Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller had a great game against the Packers, and that touchdown before the half was that. Referees exploded when that happened. And Chip, you were kind of like, why? What are they doing? Why are they going for it on 4th and 3? I'm like, hey man, it's no risk it, no biscuit. And they did, and that brought them up, before the half, which was great. A nice little buffer going into the draft too, because now you got the Packers getting the ball in the second half and everything. So with Antonio Brown back, it's good. It's another good addition that Brady has to throw to, and it's another weapon that he can utilize against the Chiefs. I think it's the time off that they're getting to get guys back to full strength, especially not only on the offensive side but also the defensive side too. They're going to get guys back. So this is a good time where now going in the Super Bowl against the champs, the defending champs, you're getting guys 100% back to form going into the Super Bowl, man. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, for sure. And Scotty Miller is obviously impressive. He's the guy we talk about pretty much every week. Who else on the offense impressed you the most? Because, I mean, as far as receivers and finding the end zone and really making impact plays in this game, there's a lot of names to mention here. So who's a guy that stands out to each of you the most from this offense?
I would say Chris Godwin. Now, and I say that because he had a case of the dropsies the past couple of games, especially against the Saints. He had one against the Packers, but he was catching.
He made up for it with that.
He made up for it. After that, it was like, I'm not dropping another ball again. And that's what really stuck out to me the most was, he may have made a mistake, but then he came back and made big plays with it. So Chris Godwin came up good. Tyler Johnson came up good too. So it's guys that, we hear a little bit about, but they've actually really caught fire and sprung up in the past couple of games. So guys like that is what stuck out to me the most.
I mean, I think that somebody that stuck out, we've talked about Fournette. He's been really huge, and he's going into a contract year. So I think everything he's done has been good. I mean, Cameron Brate had a touchdown second half and found him. So that was his first, I think, in his career in the postseason. So that was good for him. But I just think that the offense as a whole and what we've been talking about, it's always kind of it's not next man up mentality, but Brady really mixes it up and allows guys all over the field to really make things happen. So to pick one, if I had to pick one player, I would say the offensive line is really the MVP of everything because you've taken away some pieces and they're still as effective as they were. It seems like these past couple of weeks going through the playoffs. So offensive line would be my one player unit that I would probably say.
Yeah. Especially with the guys like they lost Alex Kappa and Ali, guys like that. But the offensive line just amazing. I think they got the Brady one time. Yeah. Come on.
But he's the anchor, Ryan Jensen. God love him.
Yeah. I love his new commercial, His little sleep apnea commercial really pleases me. I'm pretty happy with it.
John, we got a question from the comments. John's asking, did you guys – that doesn't really make any sense. Did you guys, the Buccaneers, nearly blowing the lead after the 28-10 lead? Oh, he redid his question. There we go.
Oh, did
you guys think the Bucs were going to blow a 28-10 lead?
I think in the moment, did I think it? Did it ever creep into my head? Yes, it did a little bit. Because Tom Brady, those 3 two were just ducks. One was a tipped ball. So, you kind of wonder, and I was going to save it, and I might be stealing some thunder here, but those plays that he made, that's not how, those should be made. Those should not be Hail Mary throws chucked up into no man's land like that. And he knows better than that. I think he'll clean that up. But.
Chip, Brady had some money on the game. He's like, look, I got to throw a couple of ducks up here. make this interesting for the bettors in Vegas. I gotta make, come on. Brady's like, I'm gonna make this interesting.
He gets a piggy bank from Giselle.
Yeah.
He gives half of it to the refs, and he gives the other half to Vegas.
It's like, honey, this is my allowance. This is my allowance for the week. I didn't want to let anybody down in Vegas, so I had to throw 3 picks. And I want to say to all the dum-dums out there that about the whole Jameis Winston thing, and Tom Brady throwing 3 picks, and people saying, "Oh, Jameis Winston," like, enough. It's over with that. Jameis is no longer on this team. Stop bringing up Jameis with the Bucs. It's done. I remember I read something on Twitter. Oh, do you think Tom Brady winning with his team is actually Jameis's team? No. Stop.
Was that really asked? Really?
Somebody actually tweeted that out on Twitter. Like, oh, this is actually Jameis's team. No, it's not.
The roster is also so different. And when you look at how they've structured this team, how they're playing this offense, it's not even close to the same scheme, close to the same roster. I mean, there's still guys that are there, but this is a whole different team.
It's just like the Sopranos. It's over. Get a new show. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on from this.
Yeah. It's and someone in our comments brought up Mike Evans, and I think that's a good transition there, talking about those 3 interceptions, 2 of them coming on Mike Evans, obviously having a better game in general than he really saw against the Saints. Obviously put up 51 yards, a touchdown, but we're seeing 2 of those interceptions come on Mike Evans. And I guess kind of what are your opinions on that? Is that speaking more to just the pressure up front, Tom Brady's ball throwing, or is it Evans kind of having a little bit of route running issue?
Talking about a little bit of the yips a little bit. A problem with Mike Evans is he doesn't turn his head. He doesn't look back when he's on a route. So that kind of hinders him when he's looking for a pass. One of them was a tad bit high from Brady, which tipped off his hand. So I'll give him on that one. But other than that, with Evans is when he comes to the route running, it just seems like, it's like, turn your head, bro. It's coming. It's not like Jameis. Get the Jameis stuff out. That's what you have to worry about with Jameis. Not with Tom Brady. He's going to put it there. You got to turn your head. It's going to be there and catch it. Okay. So with Evans has got to really show out for the Super Bowl. You can't be doing those type of stupid mistakes playing against the Chiefs. You cannot do that at all.
Yeah.
And Mike is the primary target for Brady. I mean, it is. So, but this also looks at it as if he's going to be double teamed or if there's somebody's going to be shadowing him, it opens up the other guys for opportunities to get passes for Brady too as well. I mean, we saw this with Godwin early in the playoffs. He had a couple drops. It's all part of. Look, this Bucs team has not been in this position in a long, long time. These guys have never been in this position before. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of nerves when it comes to these big type games. So am I worried going forward with Mike? Nah, because he's going to catch balls. He's going to catch touchdowns, especially he's going to have a good game.
I agree with John here too. Evans is a big target, dude. He's a guy that's, really, really big. So I think that there you go. I think that Brady knows that a jump ball or something that's higher up, he's probably, I don't know, he's got to be at least, I think the biggest corner for Green Bay was Alexander, and he was probably 5'11" or 6.
He had a great game, though.
He did.
Alexander had a great game. Yeah.
And Evans is what, 6'5" or 6'6"? So, there's a big advantage there height-wise. So I think Brady feels like he can force one up in the air, and Evans can go get it.
But see, that's the thing with Brady, though, is he shouldn't have to do that, though. He shouldn't have to force it. He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to force it.
The reason why he had to throw that is because he was getting hit and dragged down.
I know that, but when he's forcing it in there, he's making mistakes and throwing picks. So he can't do that going forward.
I agree.
He can't be trying to thread the needle when the hole's not there to thread. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Let's flip the switch, talk about the defense a little bit. As much as we can hype up the offense, we can probably hype up the defense 10 times more. Another week of them really putting the offense in a position to win, in a position to have good field position and really take control of the game.
Yep.
You had a lot of players making plays both up front and in the secondary. What stood out to you the most about this defensive performance, and who's a guy that's kind of high on your list after the NFC Championship?
Devin White is Robo Buccaneer, dude. He is everywhere. Give him a freaking show. He is the guy. I mean, he can drop back into cut. Every scout in America needs to go back, look what they saw on his combine, on everything that he did, and you need to go out and get yourself a Devin White robo tackler, dude. He's a manimal. Sign me up for that guy.
That dude is playing on a whole different level, man. He's like a Ray Lewis 2.0.
Yes,
like, without the murder stuff, but yeah.
You sure you don't want to have him keep murdering?
No,
sure?
Okay,
I wanted to ask.
And it was good to see Shaq Barrett like destroyed Aaron Rodgers there, and then JPP coming out like. That's the front seven I want to see, man, and that was great. Like, I made the comment to Ravi, he's like, JPP with his one hamburger helper hand, man. He's just I know.
I love him so much.
I mean, USF Bull, man, all the way. Let's go Bulls. But like,
I don't love that, but yeah.
Well, you have your reasons because of that. But
that's right.
But just seeing those guys come alive, man, and just manhandle, Aaron Rodgers was that's what you want to see, and we want to see that against Patrick Mahomes. I want to see Patrick Mahomes get another concussion. I want to see him down on the ground. Okay.
Oh wow,
that's aggressive.
I know. Well, hey, it's the Super Bowl, man. I don't care.
Evan's views of wishing injuries on other players do not reflect the views.
Play the back. Right.
It's like a little disclaimer.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
All right.
So we gotta say Murphy Bunting, first player to record an interception in 3 consecutive postseason games since Cam Chancellor.
Yeah. Insane.
Freaking go ahead, boy. Do you, boo-boo.
Can we bring out the most negative part of that defense is Carlton Davis, who should maybe
he
thank you, Kaylee. Thank you.
Yeah, he had a couple times he got caught peeking in, but this is going to be it's a process.
A young guy. He's a young guy.
Don't give me that young guy crap. Come on.
Well, no, listen. Now we're going back to the scene of the crime. Tyreek Hill. The Bucs played man to man with Davis on Hill the first half of that game, and he got freaking torched, Inferno style. So now they're going to shift to zone. And hopefully all our safeties come back, which that was another huge loss as well. Losing, Winfield and also Whitehead as well. So those are 2 key losses that we hopefully get back.
I'm so glad that I can control my anger because every time Carlton Davis got beat, I wanted to throw something at a television, and I'm glad I can control my anger because I probably would have had to probably. I probably would have had to buy Carl like 2 TVs because of my anger, because of Carlton Davis and his lack of covering people. It just makes me mad. Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
I take
I think they also want to win those battles as well.
Yeah,
so, Carlton, you're all right.
You're all right, Carlton.
Let's talk. Before we jump into the Super Bowl matchup a little bit, Evan, do you want to give us your IPA of the day?
Yes, the IPA of the day, which I put on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, was the Double Hooked Double IPA from Three Daughters Brewing, a proud sponsor of this fine show. What I'm drinking tonight is not the IPA of the day, but will be featured soon, is the Florida Orange IPA, if you all can see that right there.
That sounds so good.
It is very tasty. It's a very refreshing beer, almost like a stronger version of a Shock Top or a Blue Moon. So I'm sure you can't wait to try it as well. So that is your IPA of the day. Not only is the Double Hooked Double IPA of the day, but it's also the Florida Orange IPA from Three Daughters Brewing.
Love that. I also drank a Beach Blonde Ale. It's gone now.
Oh. Yeah, I poured these at the beginning of the show. I guess I need to bring 2.
I know. Yeah, I have that same issue, and I didn't bring the can. But trust me, it is there. And if you're not following us on Instagram, it's at PlayTheBayTB, so you can see all of Evan's IPAs of the days.
I'm getting the hang of the whole Instagram thing. This is like the first time I've been on Instagram for more than a week, and I'm trying to get a hang of it. I
actually really liked that video. I thought that was fantastic.
I did that all on my phone.
I know. Our phone's amazing. It is kind of crazy because you have an Android, so I don't know how you did that all on your phone, but the rest of us, we're all living in iPhone land.
Yeah.
So
good for you. So yeah. No, I just pulled up the video, recorded video on my phone, and then just edited it. Even put the music in on my phone. I was like, whoa, why haven't I discovered this before? So
I love this journey for you.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. All right. Let's talk about the Super Bowl matchup. Before we jump into what we're going to see in a couple weeks, let's talk about what we saw back in week 12. I think.
Oh, God.
Week 12.
I'm
So,
scared.
yeah, the first time these teams met this season, we won't spend a lot of time on this because I think as we figured out from the entire playoff picture, these games don't necessarily mean really anything coming into the playoffs. Every week really is a 1-game season or a 1-week season. And for the Super Bowl, it's even more so. But let's talk about what is going to look different this time around. The first time around, the Chiefs won this game 27-24. Obviously felt like a bigger deficit than it ended up being on the scoreboard. A lot of the Buccaneers' points coming in the fourth quarter, garbage time, if you will. But, let's talk about why this game is going to be different for the Buccaneers than it was in Week 12.
I think you identified obviously what you did wrong in that game, and it's going to have to be, a learning experience. And hopefully that was kind of the time where we were really talking about the Bucs going into the bye week and having to get themselves together as a team. I mean, that was really when they had to rally around. So you figured they probably watched that film and figured out what the issue was and what the problem was, and hopefully they've fixed it. A lot of it was the one-on-one with Davis and Hill, and you're gonna have to lock him down and kind of have help over the top, obviously, because he's fairly fast. You're not nicknamed the cheetah if you run like a refrigerator with legs. So, I mean, you get out there and you do it. So I think they'll make changes there. And I just think this is a different team emotionally and also just a competent bunch now. I think that time in the season, everything was still a little shaky and they didn't really believe in the everything they had going on. So I just think this is a different team. Hopefully it'll be a different outcome.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chip. And I think adjustments is the biggest thing too. And our good friend of the show, Jason Ponches, said is double Kelsey and Hill, let someone else beat you. And that was the big thing with the last game was, that's the Chiefs' primary scorers is right there is Tyreek and Travis Kelsey. And Travis Kelsey had a field day with the Bucs, and so did Tyreek. So it's going into this game is you really gotta don't play this cover 2 crap in the defense. Don't be doing that because then you're going to get beat every time. And I think going into this game, it's get after Patrick Mahomes. And I think they're going to be able to do that. I mean, this front seven is now solidified. Everybody's back. Villa's back. Getting to Mahomes. Now, don't let Mahomes get out of the pocket because he's gonna flick it. I mean, he's almost like Phillip Rivers and Aaron Rodgers. He can flick the ball 50, 60 yards and make a play out of it. And that's the biggest thing that they've got to watch out for is if you're going to be rushing him, if you're going to be bringing in the rush, you got to make sure, he's not going to get out of the pocket. He'll murder you. So I think that's one of the biggest things too is going into this game is getting after Patrick Mahomes and shaking that guy and putting him down on the grass and getting him a concussion so he's out of the game and bringing in Chad Henne again. So
No.
What?
No, we don't want anyone to get hurt. Don't say that.
Not like bad, just out of the game.
Like you're gonna get a concussion.
I've had plenty of those back.
I think Eric Fisher being out, and we found that out, is going to play a huge part. And I think the Bucs defensive line definitely needs that pressure. Vita stepped up, obviously, welcome back, and he had a great game.
Yep.
Moving the pocket up the middle. So we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, definitely pressure and keeping Mahomes in the pocket was something that is good.
John, no, you cannot have Shaq back. The Broncos lost out on that, and he is ours now. So, no, you cannot not have that. You cannot have him back. You can have Drew Lock. You can have your guys' team and still figure out what your quarterback is. So, sorry, John. No, you can't have Shaq back. Sorry about that. So, speaking of the big game, with a new year comes tons of new big games in sports. And with big games, you need big stakes. Yes. Kansas City Steaks has the cut you crave to celebrate the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Visit kansascitysteaks.com/game day and save up to $25 on combos. Perfect for game day. Plus, get free shipping on code BELIEVE, BLEAV checkout. That's go to kansascitysteaks.com/game day.
Perfect cuts, dude.
Love that.
Get yourself some beef tips, sirloins. Like John even loves that they add. God, love them. Nothing like football.
I didn't know we were attracting. I didn't know we were attracting Broncos fans to the show. Very strange. Very strange.
I mean, I'm not mad about it.
No. We gotta expand our fan base. So that's cool.
We
Broncos
do, yeah.
We welcome you. It's all good.
You always have a home here.
That's right.
Your home on your team is not so good at the moment. But let's talk about this game a little more. So the Buccaneers scored 14 of their points off of really turnovers, right? So you're really relying on this defense, like we mentioned earlier, to put the offense in a position to win. We also talked about Bruce Arians. And this whole offensive scheme is really kind of risk it, get the big plays, and less about really efficiently moving the ball and extending drives and things like that. And when your defense is, getting all these interceptions, putting you in positions to score, that's great. Do you think that game plan will work as efficiently against the Chiefs? Because like we talked about, Patrick Mahomes getting out of the pocket's a little more dangerous than quarterbacks that they've faced thus far. Obviously, he can make some plays that aren't really stoppable at some extent. And then not only that, but he can handle pressure a little bit better than your average NFL quarterback. So are they going to have to go for a more conservative, efficient strategy on offense to get this game done?
I mean, it's a Super Bowl. I mean, no risk it, no biscuit. I mean, if you're too conservative, that could bite you in the ass in the long run. I would say go all out, man. Throw the kitchen sink at him. I mean,
we saw a lot of third down conversions last game that were huge in the stretch run, and I think that's going to be a really important down, obviously for any team in the Super Bowl. But the Bucs did really great on third down conversions this past week against the Packers, and that'll be key.
They had They had 5, 3 and longs. They had like 3 and 9 and third and 9 and like 3rd and 12, and they were getting first. And that's what really impressed me the most. The first quarter. I mean, you're controlling the clock the first quarter with that way. And if they can do that against the Chiefs, they're going to have a good time offensive wise because you're just tiring that defense out. Chip, you and I talked about that at Rafferty's. Is it was control the clock in the first half was the Bucs offense, and that's what they need to do. Now, obviously, the Packers flipped that script in the third quarter when the Packers just controlled everything.
Yeah, I think the defense was on the field for 8-9 minutes that quarter, which was just unbelievable.
Right. But yeah, I think the big thing was converting on the third downs. That was huge. And you don't normally see the Bucs do that, and especially in a big game like that, especially on the third and longs, that set the tone the rest of the way with the Bucs offense was. If we can convert on third and longs, we're going to be fine. We're going to do good on this. So that impressed me the most because we've seen earlier in the season, and even going into the playoffs, where the Bucs have had third and short and third and long, and they don't convert on it. So that really impressed me was when they were converting on those third downs against the Packers.
Yeah, for sure. What are some areas? There's a lot of matchups to look at in this game, and we can really dive into the matchups deeper next week leading up to the Super Bowl. But right off the top, where are some areas that the Buccaneers can have really the upper hand against the Chiefs? And what are some areas where the Buccaneers really need to step up in the next 2 weeks where the Chiefs might be a little stronger?
Chip, I'll let you take that one.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. I think where the Bucs, we're stronger as a team. I almost think with defensively, I think we're stronger, even though Kansas City has done a good job with some playmakers and being able to make plays. They've gotten better. Defensively, I think we're stronger, especially along the line. I think where Tampa is going to be a little bit weaker is probably explosive plays. We don't have somebody that runs a fourth, whatever he runs now, a 4-3 or, whatever he does. But we saw Hardman run a 4-3-3 or a 4-3-2 or whatever it was at the Combine 2 years ago. So they just have some flat out burners that really just run by people. Miller, Scooter can run. AB can run. He's obviously older, and Mike Evans and Godwin rely on their size. So, I think that just the ability to have somebody run by you on offense, I think they have that, which, we don't have a guy that runs 4-3. So
I would think comparable. We've got a better front seven, but our corners compared to theirs are way behind. I mean, you've got Tyrann Mathieu there. You've got guys like Ward that can cover guys. That I'm really interested to see who's going to be covering Mike Evans on the game on the Super Bowl. That's what I really want to see. But I think it's almost flipped. Like Bucs have a better front seven. Their secondary is weak, and then with the Chiefs, mean, their front seven's pretty good, but not as good as the Bucs. But then their corners are really good. So that's, I think, where the risk it no biscuit plays you may not see a lot, because there could be opportunities for mistakes, and we've seen that when Brady's trying to force it down the pipe when he's throwing a deep ball, and then there's an interception right there. I mean, Kaylee, if you had to match these two up, if it matched these two teams up when it comes to comparable defenses, who's got the upper hand?
Yeah, I think I do think the Bucs have the upper hand, given the fact that their corners have been, they're weak in some areas, but they're really kind of on a streak right now. The whole team's really hot right now. So I think this secondary, if they can hold up the way they've held up in the past couple weeks, I wouldn't be as concerned. Obviously, the Chiefs just have those guys that are just impact players in the secondary that, can make plays all the time. And that's really important. But we have young guys making plays in Tampa Bay. So it's kind of like, I think the front seven's really going to control the narrative. I think it's another game. And all of these games in the playoffs really kind of come down to the trenches. And I think that's definitely going to come up. The Chiefs being without some of their starting offensive tackles is really important. That's obviously going to be a huge opportunity for the Buccaneers to come in heavy on that pressure up front and hopefully force Patrick Mahomes to really, get out of his comfort zone. Not that, I mean, it's hard to find a part of the field that's not his comfort zone, but I think they can get the pressure up front. And I think with those impact players on that offensive line for the Chiefs not being there, I think that's a real opportunity for the Bucs. So
I was going to say, is there a comfort zone, a non-comfort zone that Patrick Mahomes does not have? I mean, he just seems so comfortable in that pocket. It's scary.
Yeah, you look back to the Raiders game, right? And I think that's kind of where you're getting most of your. I think every team has looked back to that game and said, where did they go right and how? And even that game against the Chargers, where he looked pretty uncomfortable as well. You kind of look back and say, they're not invincible, and that's kind of been a storyline all season. But then again, they've won most of their games, so it's kind of like you can say that until you're blue in the face, but they're also putting up wins. So at the same time, it's it is trying to figure out what does make him uncomfortable. But there's a way. Obviously, I'm not paid millions of dollars to figure it out, but someone is. So hopefully they do.
We wish we were.
Yeah. I mean, hey, put me in. I wouldn't mind for sure. But yeah, we'll make sure you tune in next week. We'll go kind of deeper into these matchups, deeper into this game in the Super Bowl. But we talked last week about Brady kind of solidifying his GOAT status if this team, 1, makes the Super Bowl and 2, wins the Super Bowl. And I guess I want to get your opinion first on what this legacy looks like after this year. If he makes the Super Bowl and they fall to the Chiefs, and if they make the Super Bowl and win in Tampa Bay, what changes? What does one more win and a Super Bowl title change about his legacy?
If he loses, his legacy, I think no matter what, is still intact, because where he's taken this team to the Super Bowl. I mean, I think putting that as on your legacy itself is saying, look, I didn't like the naysayers that said, oh, he needs Belichick, he's a system quarterback. That talk can be all pushed aside, because now it's proven that he didn't need Belichick all along. Belichick needed Brady.
Yeah.
So even if, like, God forbid, the Bucs lose against the Chiefs, does this tarnish it? No, I don't think it tarnishes it at all, because, he took a team that was 7-9 last year, came in, and obviously there was a lot of doubts with him. I mean, a lot of people think he couldn't throw the deep ball anymore. A lot of people thought he wouldn't do well in a new system with a new coach, but he's proven everybody wrong by taking his team, and they're making history too. This is the first time the home team is actually playing in the Super Bowl. I mean, the stars are aligned for this to happen, and who better to do it would be Tom Brady. So, if they win, I said this last week. The conversation has been over about who the GOAT is. Yeah, the conversation's over. There's no more conversation. You can say whatever you want about the guys coming up. You can say, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes is going to be the GOAT." He's got to win more than one. Okay, he's got to win more than one to be even in that. He's got to win more than 2 to be in that conversation about him trying to be the greatest of all time, and he's still got a left to prove. Like, Brady's it for football. That's it. There's no more. He's the mountaintop. So I think with him, if he wins his 7th Super Bowl title, I mean, he could say, I'm done. I could ride off in the sunset after that. But obviously we know Brady's probably not going to do that, win or lose. He's going to come back And if he wins, he's going to go for number 8. If he loses, he's going to come back, for number 7. So the legacy is not going to be tarnished either, like tarnished if he loses or not. It's there. It's never going to be. There's no going to be black check marks on it at all. I think
that's interesting point, and that was kind of my next question. Is like we said that he didn't. This isn't random, right? This isn't like whatever team was going to take him. This was very clearly thought out process. What city does he want to be in? What team has potential? Where can he mold a roster around him to put together a Super Bowl winning team, right? Like this was a very deliberate plan. Tampa Bay was thought out. It's not a Cinderella story. It very much is designed to be this way. With that said, designed to be this way, you can assume that Brady's goal was to prove that he didn't need Belichick, prove that he can go to a new team, bring them to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, and build basically a dream team. And this is really like an NBA clinic on building a dream team, but for the NFL. And, and he's doing all of those things. Now, if that's accomplished, Chip, is he coming back? Evan thinks he's coming back. Do you think that he has incentive to come back next year and risk ending his career on a worse note?
I got to tell you, that's the one thing that athletes very few get a chance to pick and go out on the top of the mountain, winning a Super Bowl, Peyton Manning getting ready, making that transition, winning in Denver. And, very few get the opportunity to do that. I think it'll be serious consideration. They signed him to come here and to do a job, and he picked Tampa because this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to play in a host city, and he wanted to win in a host city. And I think that, right now, I can't even move my brain past that kind of, because he's got a lot ahead of him. But I think he's got a contract for 2 years. He knows that you can't hold this roster together forever. You might get it maybe one more year offensively, because you've got some pieces that are coming up and you're going to have to pay some folks. So if he wins, I think he's definitely going to consider riding out. But you also have Gronkowski, who said he'll play again. He's going to have a year under his belt with the coach, with the system. So I think, and you see it, he's still having fun. But, I think we're all kidding ourselves. If you think Tom Brady's not going to win this Super Bowl, you are just not thinking straight. This has been premeditated since probably 2 years ago. He was already thinking about this and lining this up and laying the groundwork. So, I just don't think he is going to put himself in a chance to lose this game. He will get every ounce out of every player on that roster for the entire game, and I think it's going to be enough.
Yeah.
What he should do is recite the speech that Al Pacino did in Any Given Sunday. I can't do it for you. It's that guy next to you that's going to give an extra inch. That one speech?
It's the inch speech.
Yeah. I would love that, actually. It would sound a lot more like 50-year-old white mom if he did it, but yeah, something like that.
Even his avocado ice cream while he's doing it too is like, all right, listen, guys.
Yeah. He's got his water in a box and his avocado ice cream like a poke bowl, and he's like, guys, we have to win this for each other. That's how he's not giving an Any Given Sunday speech. But I do agree. No. I think I assume, and I'm not there in the front office, but I would assume that 2 years is what they estimated time frame needing to pull out one Super Bowl, right? I don't think he thought was, let's go back-to-back Super Bowls, let's get it in the first year. I think they thought more, let's build an offense, build a team, and then settle in for year 2 and win a Super Bowl. So, at this point, and, if I also believe they're going to win, because I think if they got this far, the storyline, I think, is going to win it for them alone. So I think at this point, they're going to win this game. But if we're all smart, we should just shut up and let it happen, because I think if there's any possible chance that he retires and we have to stop looking at his face, or we get to stop looking at his face, like this would be, I mean, just do it. You know how sometimes like you just let a team score just so you can get the ball back and like beat up with a long 8-minute drive that sucks up all the clock. That's Tom Brady. It's like just let him get it. Like let him get it. Let him retire. Like let's be done with it.
Hey, I'm telling you,
get it over with.
If he retires, there's a guy up in Green Bay that's his future is kind of in doubt right now. I mean, and I said this months and months ago. You could bring down Aaron Rodgers.
Tampa Bay is becoming the hospice of NFL careers.
Well, it's already God's waiting room for everybody else, so why not make it?
I'm just saying, if he wins his number 7, the lucky number 7, and goes, you know what? I think I'm done. I've done all I could. I've accomplished everything else. While he's texting Aaron Rodgers at the same time, he's like, hey, they need a fill in for me. Why don't you come down here and have a good time with the team that I put together? Yep. It could happen. I'm just saying, it could happen.
Anything could happen.
Well,
anything could happen.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, though, this year, and I'm upset that we're not going to have the combine and we're not going to be able to go, but there are so many quarterback moves and things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
In the next, like Matt Stafford will probably be at or before the Super Bowl because he has a bonus payment or something coming up. In the next couple of weeks, I think, or something's in his contract to where it starts to go on before the end of the season. So Matt Stafford will be somewhere. So guys, and obviously I know we're a little off script because we're getting ready to wind the show down, but where do you think? I said, and I still feel like the Colts best home, but I've heard Patriots. I've heard a lot of other places where he could fit in. I even heard the 49ers as well. So what do you guys think as far as just him maybe obviously getting traded because he is still under contract? So where do you think he'd go?
I think the Colts is like the obvious place. And I think if they don't get him, that's a huge miss, right? Because they are a team that one right piece of that puzzle, and they're pretty much unbeatable, right? Like they're a team that has a lot of good pieces in place, a really good foundation. They're really disciplined. They know who they are, and they just need like that one thing. So I'd like to see them go there. I don't want to play them if he goes there, but you know.
I mean, they went 11-5 with Uncle Phil. I mean,
yeah.
Old Man Rivers. I mean, you get Stafford there with a nice offensive line that they have. I mean, he a bigger arm too. He can hit those guys way downfield.
The Patriots is also in an intriguing situation because they've got a ton of cap where you can lure people. If you let's just say, hey, we signed Stafford, we trade Stafford over to New England.
Garoppolo.
Yeah. Now they've got.
Get rid of him.
Pats have got plenty of space to say, hey, we're going to throw you this money, come play with Matthew Stafford and Bill Belichick. I mean, that's also an intriguing situation too. I mean, and you've got quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson who has said, no matter who you have as a coach, I want to be out of here. So I love the off season for NFL because people are moving around. It's even sometimes the off season for the NFL is even better than the actual regular season.
100%. And not only that, but like this draft has a ton of quarterbacks. Like we've gone through those years that really have been basically quarterback droughts in the draft. Like there will be 1 or 2 solid guys and the rest are just kind of terrible or second, third round. But, you know, there's a ton of quarterbacks in this draft. There's a ton of talent right in that top 10. So we're going to see like a lot of these quarterbacks moving around. And I think when you have someone like Ryan Tannehill, who was able to kind of be like a recycled cardboard box and go and be like, I don't know, become some like new station wagon or something up in Tennessee. Like he is a perfect example of what you can do with a quarterback that kind of seems mediocre or near the end of their career. And with all these young guys coming in, it's going to be interesting to see where these like mid-level vets go and who kind of pops off. And I think Matthew Stafford, somebody that everyone knows has great potential. But then you could look at even like Carson Wentz. I think he's trash. I think most of the league thinks he's trash, but with the right coach and the right system, I don't know. Maybe he sees the Super Bowl. Who knows?
I love that analogy, by the way, Kaylee. That was great.
Ryan Tannehill, the new grocery getter, NFL quarterback.
I couldn't think of one thing that cardboard boxes get recycled into, so it was tough.
New station wagon.
I don't know how recycling works. I just do it. But let's hit one fun Super Bowl prop thing before we get out of here. And that's the halftime show. I feel like we're going to disagree on the necessity of the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't know why. I just have a feeling we're going to disagree, or one of us is going to disagree. So, Super Bowl halftime, necessary or not?
Well, I mean, it's COVID. So, I mean, we're not, I mean, if it's, is it necessary? Even if it's a normal world when we're doing this, I would say, heck no. I would say, no, we don't need it. Get it out of here. It's just an example. It's just a time where really famous people who are already really famous get to go in really famous crowds and do their talent. And then it keeps players on the field way too freaking, or off the field way too long. So no.
I despise the Super Bowl halftime show. I cannot.
There's all of them?
Yes, all of them.
I need certain actually. Well,
even the Prince one. Well, no, the Prince one when it was raining and he was playing Purple Rain.
Yeah,
that was epic. Other than that, every one of them has to go. It's just now because it's just become lip syncing and just really dumb musical acts that nobody's really heard of and have no place at a football game. Because hey, when I think of football, I think of Coldplay. Or when I think of football, I think of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Give me Metallica, man. Give me old ass AC/DC playing the halftime show. Like, give me something like that. Then I'll tune in.
Give me the Bud Bowl, or make games. Do that.
Give me the Puppy Bowl.
Puppy Bowl.
Yeah, do something like that.
Even when it was around, give me the Lingerie Football League.
There you go.
That was fun.
Even give me that. But no, I despise the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, I think my anger towards it reached a peak in the mid 2000s when MTV took it over, and it just was a big pile of puke that they just made everybody watch. I turn it off during halftime. I don't watch it. I turn it off. I don't care. Give me my 15 minutes of my brain back, and then I turn the game back on. So I don't care, Dimitri. Michael Jackson, his performance, he stood there for 20 minutes in silence.
He's a problematic human being as well. We won't
we won't get into that in this show. That's another show. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if I lost Dimitri at Michael Jackson. I don't care. To me, no. Prince was pretty much the only one. I know, Kayla, you're probably going to disagree with me and Chip. So
I agree, and I also disagree at the same time. I agree in the sense that I don't need I do like production value. I do respect it and appreciate it, and it's cool to watch. But I don't need so much. I don't need all the pausing and I don't need the delay, right? If it was just I get it. It takes time to move everything around, get the stage set up, all of that. If it was just the performer plays 2 to 3 songs and then it's done, move on, I'm good. There's a lot of in between things that go on where it's kind of we're not there, right? We're not in the crowd. You don't need to play to us because we're at home. Just play the songs kind of thing. And I do think that they often pick the wrong people because while I understand where you're coming from on old bands, I think the NFL, what they need to do, which is kind of what they started to do with the Nickelodeon thing, is really appeal to younger people. So often they have these bands that are maybe they were from my time, but I don't want to listen to them. Coldplay, I'd rather stab myself with an ice pick than listen to anything Coldplay. So I don't want to watch that. Beyonce, I was eyes locked the whole time, but I think they're kind of moving in that direction now where you have The Weeknd, who is pretty much overwhelmingly respected by my generation, the younger generation, which is really who you have to sell on the NFL. You have the old white guys. You got them. They're watching it.
We're locked in. I'm in, dude.
That are we're not going to watch the NFL this year. They're still watching it. Yeah. So you have them. So I think they need to gear it a little more toward a younger demographic and make it a little more culturally relevant for a younger demographic to then transition in this new era of fans. I think the college football playoff did it really well. The championship when they had Kendrick Lamar. Super cool, very non-college football-y, but it kind of made it feel I don't know, there's still tradition in it, but it's something that's culturally relevant, and it makes it feel like it's transcending between generations in a way.
Just give me an old marching band like they used to do back in the 60s when the Super Bowl first started. Just give me a marching band. That's all you need to do.
I would boycott. That's where you would lose me. NFL.
Give me a drum line and some horns. I'll be okay.
That's where you would lose me. But yeah, I also think it's good. Like the Super Bowl, you typically have an event around it, like you have a party or people over or something's going on. Maybe not in COVID, but like usually you have people over, you're doing something. It is a nice chance, like an extended halftime, to be able to do whatever you need to do and get settled in for the second half. Because I feel like sometimes they go a little too quick.
True.
I
agree with that.
It's enough time to play a nice game of beer pong, flip cup, get re-up with some food and some drinks. So yeah, I can see that. But no, they're not necessary anymore. Just and as Jason says, we need more cowbell. So that's what
always more cowbell. I didn't go to Mississippi State, but I'm sure they agree.
I got a fever.
All right. And speaking of cowbell, before we get out, so Mississippi State played in the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville a few years back, and you could hear the cowbells 15 miles away from the stadium. So,
if you've ever gone to a Rays game, they have been notorious for having cowbells in the stadium. So if you go there, it pisses a lot of opposing fans and players off when they do the cowbell, which is great. So I love that.
Yeah,
not like it echoes in the press box, which is fantastic. It echoes throughout the whole box.
Not like the drop of the ball, like the Marlins organization had when they did the vuvuzelas a few years ago because of the World Cup. That was the biggest PR mistake they could have done. So, which is the Marlins. So
fair. I forget the Marlins exist sometimes, but sorry.
They do.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yes, no one elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. We're getting into the PED era of players, and then crazy ass Curt Schilling too as well. So first time, I think it was the first time nobody's been elected. I think, right?
Maybe.
I
don't know.
Curt Schilling got 71% of the votes, and then it was in the 40s for the rest of the people. So very, very shocking this year. Nobody got elected.
Very true.
Weird. Chip, you got anything?
Nope. I'm good. Excited, and I'm trying not to sneeze right now, but we just keep dragging out the show. So you guys are doing great.
Just mute and sneeze.
Yeah, just mute and sneeze, man.
I'm trying not to sneeze, but we're doing great dragging this out.
All right, don't sneeze. All I have to say is obviously a year ago today, we lost Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant and 7 other people. So just thoughts that way to their families. And but thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll go deeper into this matchup and more on the Super Bowl. We will have 2 shows next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So make sure to tune in for both of those at 8 p.m. Follow us on Twitter at PlayTheBayTB, Facebook at PlayTheBay2020, and Instagram PlayTheBayTB as well. Apple, Spotify, rate, review, subscribe. Is there anything else I can say to prolong this torture for Chip?
You guys are
make sure to watch us on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope for however long it's going to be on the air and Twitter and Periscope. So yeah, just make sure.
Okay, I'm leaving the studio. See you guys later.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Play the Bay. We'll be back again with another episode on the Believe Podcasting Network. If interested in advertising, please contact Believe.com.